the telecom technology around you, and I thank you for bringing together vital experiences to those around us.
Salut și bine ați venit! Sunt Adrian Săceleanu, editor al știrilor high-tech la Zero Financiar și gazda unei noi ediții a emisiunii Startup Radar, lansată în parteneriat cu platforma de equity crowdfunding Seedblink, emisiune în cadrul căreia sunt aduse în prim plan startup-uri de tehnologie aflate în plină expansiune, ce își doresc să ridice runde de finanțare în viitorul apropiat pe platforma de investiții. Evenimentele se desfășoară ca parte a platformei ZF IT Generation, care este dedicată ecosistemului de startup-uri de tehnologie și a cărei misiune este să aducă în prim plan startup-urile din industria locală de tehnologie și să descopere cele mai valoroase inițiative antreprenoriale din acest domeniu, de la software, cloud și Internet of Things până la aplicații mobile sau echipamente, inițiative care să creeze noua generație de milionari din IT ai României. Invitații la cea de-a doua ediție a videoconferinței Startup Radar, partea emisiunii dedicate ecosistemului de startup-uri Tech ZF IT Generation, sunt Arta Șeșu-Zaimi, Chief Executive Officer în cadrul Labbox Education, și Luis Mendes, fondator și CEO al startup-ului Mate. Vom ține discuția în limba engleză de acum încolo, având în vedere că avem invitații internaționali. Este și o parte a planului nostru de a duce un pic mai dincolo de granițele României platforma ZF IT Generation. Voi trece deci acum la limba engleză. So, hello also in English for everyone who's watching us. Welcome to a new edition of our show, Startup Radar, a show that is developed in partnership with Seedblink, a show where we want to present you the most interesting tech startups in the region. Our first guest in this edition of Startup Radar is Labbox Education, a startup founded in Kosovo, and we are going to talk with Arta Șeșu-Zaimi, who is CEO for this startup. So Arta, hello and welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. We'll keep the way we did the last show. So first of all, we are going to hear a pitch from our guest, and then we are going to have a Q&A. We invite you to ask questions to our guests via our Facebook page. You can watch there the show, and there you can leave comments with your questions, and we are going to read them and ask them to our guests. So let's hear first of all the pitch for Labbox Education. Let's hear about this project.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's great.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you all for tuning in and listening what we're creating with Labbox. I'm Arta, a co-founder and CEO of Labbox, and today I want to share with you how Labbox is inspiring children for engineering. First, I want to introduce the founding team of Labbox, which consists of me, Fiona, and Glenn. I want to share with the audience that the inspiration to work on an edtech startup has been strongly influenced by my 3 children. I have 3 daughters. I am also a computer science engineer by background with over 8 years of experience in development, 4 as a software developer and another 4 as a software architect. My other co-founder, Fiona, she's also my sister. She's a computer science engineer with extensive experience in development as well as leading educational projects here in Kosovo. And Glenn. Together with Fiona, we started our entrepreneurial journey 6 years ago when we founded Kosovo's first coding academy, which was completely bootstrapped. We managed to grow the company to 45 employees and scaled it geographically into 5 centers. In our experience with J-Coders, we worked with over 5,000 children from the Albanian-speaking market with a clear focus to provide learning opportunities in technology. During our work with kids, we found a gap which was related to the tools that kids were using to create with, and therefore I'm here today presenting Labbox. Glenn has joined our team as a co-founder, bringing in his super engineering skills. Glenn has over 30 years of experience in hardware design and manufacturing, working for companies like Micron and Duracell. Labbox was initially supported by our first investors, South Central Ventures, and is a Techstars portfolio company. Today, after going through Techstars, we work with an exceptionally strong team of mentors and advisors from Techstars who are helping us in all aspects of the company, from marketing, sales, growth, and tech. Names coming from companies, from high growth startups like HelloFresh and N26. So what are we solving for? I think it is clear for everyone that in this digital age, technology is becoming part of our everyday life in every aspect of human living. And it is strongly shaping the job market and affecting education. It is estimated that 75% of jobs in the next 10 years will require STEM skills, STEM standing for science, technology, engineering, and math. And this means that even children today are being affected by the lack of opportunity in this area. Even though from an awareness level, the topics to bring STEM education has been addressed a decade ago, schools are taking too long to include these activities, and this is mostly affected due to teacher preparedness level in regards to technology and engineering. Parents, on the other hand, while they're very aware of the need and importance for their kids to develop such skills, they find it extremely difficult to create activities to do with their kids, even if they come from engineering background. Not to mention gathering the materials to actually give the kids opportunity to learn from hands-on experience is almost impossible for many. In the market, apologies. In the market today, there are fundamentally two categories of products that you can use to learn about electronics and engineering. We have products that fall in the category of bare electronics, with names like Arduinos and Raspberry Pis, which originally have been created to help engineers and hobbyists, so adults, to express their ideas fast. This category of products in the hands of kids have a steep learning curve and are downright just intimidating. The second category of products consists of products designed for kids. The main issue with the majority of similar engineering kits is that they don't actually explain to kids how things work, which reduces their understanding of engineering to the experience they get by assembling a kit. So if you go today and buy a kit, an engineering kit, your kid will get an assembly experience, but not necessarily the learning perspective. This was something that bothered us. So from the very get-go of Labbox's conceptualization, we moved in the opposite direction. We designed a new library of electronics, specifically designed to demystify electronic and engineering concepts and allow kids to understand, troubleshoot, and create their own engineering projects while learning. How we did this is that we chose a variety of electronic components that are widely used, and we put them into blocks. We deliberately preserved the real worldliness in the sense that if you work with Labbox's electronic box, you need to actually follow all the engineering and electronic concepts and apply them in order for your circuits to work. Each of our blocks have a specific autonomy or architecture that we follow, which means that we've added protective circuitry. So in this way, we're supporting kids to make mistakes, and they're not afraid to break anything while they're making mistakes. We have put magnetic snap connectors, which makes it very easy for kids to connect our blocks into circuit, as well as we have removed with this any need for special tools like soldering irons and another equipment required for engineering project, electronics and engineering projects. And we've added indicators, small lights that light up to inform kids about typical mistakes they're doing while they're building their circuits. In this way, kids can troubleshoot and understand where they're making the mistakes, and this also acts as a reinforcement of the same concepts. So how we're offering our services today. Labbox today offers subscription services that delivers monthly engineering projects. The projects that we include into the boxes are usually things that kids love to play with. This is all with the goal to help them learn by gaining hands-on experience while doing so. Let's take, for example, Yana. She is an 8-year-old kid, highly curious about how the world around her works. And unless her school provides practical experiences, it's very hard for her working parents to fill in. In this example of Yana, if her parents would subscribe to Labbox, then she will get access to our engineering curriculum for kids. And on a monthly basis, we would send her a new box with new electronic books from our library for her to explore. We would unlock a part of our curriculum on the gamified online platform where she gets rewarded for every activity she does. She then can meet with us, share her work, and present her work in front of her peers. With every box that Yana gets, she will learn new experiments, new concepts, and gain new experiences. From a market perspective, our estimated total market, even though growing at a 4.2 rate on annual basis, is estimated at 69 billion. And we are targeting an annual recurring revenue of 20 million by 2025. We are riding the trend of parents preferring products which stimulate learning and creativity, and we've seen an explosion, especially since the pandemic. Our growth plans are clear, and while this year we're still focused on product development and content development so we can provide a rich variety of projects that kids can build, we have done a fair share of our market testing. We know we will reach a monthly recurring revenue of 24K this year and move to other milestones after that. Our biggest milestone right now is to start selling outside of the Balkan region, and I'm really happy to report that we have started market testing and we're seeing amazing results. Until now, in a controlled testing, we have onboarded around 377 subscribers, which are receiving monthly boxes delivered through our subscription. The satisfaction of our customers is high, and through a rigorous process of customer feedback, we are improving and adding lessons and experiments and projects in our roadmap. Our business model is a subscription model where we sell products in different prices depending on the time commitment of our customers. Those that commit longer, we're giving better prices. Incremental revenue models are to sell to schools and educational spaces. We have around 30 schools that today use Labbox into their environment, and we've seen that this acts as a multiplier to Labbox's subscription base. Our go-to-market strategy is focused on product-led growth, with online sales being our primary source of sales through our online store. We leverage influencers, micro-influencers, and have a clear process of referrals where we tackle the network of our customers in order to gain even more customers. And this allows us to drop even further our customer acquisition costs. We believe strongly that a core of a successful business is a strong customer service. And that is why even today, and we highly prioritize customer service, and that is one important factor for every team member of Labbox. So from the market testing that I mentioned, we did the market testing mostly through social media. Channels like Facebook and Instagram were used, and we've experienced a cost per lead in the range of 2.2 to 3.7 euros, depending on the audience that we targeted. We've collected around 4,000 leads, and these and this has been, so the testing has been mostly in the Balkan region. We've initiated testing also in European countries, and for Romania, I'm happy to say that the cost per leads are still holding. Because on the Balkan region there is little to no competition in services that Labbox provides, we're seeing a conversion rate of 10 to 15% from lead to subscriber, depending on the cohorts and also the seasonality of our products. We are considering these numbers, we are estimating or expecting a conversion rate of 5 to 8% in leads to subscriber in other European countries. However, this is done because we wanted to discount due to different market conditions. Our typical customer is a parent that has a child in the age range of 8 to 12, is in the category of medium to high income, and their behavior is that they are usually very involved in their child's development, something that we call an active parent. From a unit economics perspective, we have been able to show great margins in our products in production, which on average, we've seen a 60% gross margin from an average sales price. And this is in low quantities. So what I mean with low quantities is productions in lower than 1,000 a month. What we know is that with scale, these costs will drop significantly, as with every electronics product out there. From a competition perspective, the first thing to understand is that there are not too many companies offering subscription-based products with this value proposition, with the strongest being Kivico, which is based in the US, and now Melt Science. Labbox differentiates clearly from these two companies from two perspectives. One is that with our subscription, the blocks that kids receive on a monthly basis, they are able to reuse them and therefore build a lab of electronics at home, therefore Labbox. As well as we put a lot of focus on providing a curriculum-based subscription, which means that the content that we provide on a monthly basis is tailored to how a child learns and is scaffolded in order to drive them from simple concepts to more complex. Maybe because of our experience in bootstrapping our first company, I take pride in the fact that Labbox, even though is a hardware company, we've been able to be very cost effective. With only 300K investment, we've developed our whole library of electronics. We've developed our product line, which consists of 12 products. And we've also built and developed our online learning platform. In the offices where I'm speaking from now, we also have our own production line where we do the production of our products and we ship them out of here. Together with that and the performance that we're seeing in the market, I'm extremely hopeful for the success of Labbox. And with the strong mission to help kids discover engineering is something that is very necessary for the future. Thank you for listening, and I'm more than happy to take any questions.
I also thank you very much for the presentation. A very interesting project. I was looking forward to talk to you. My first question, because it's a foundation of what's happening today, what made you choose Seedblink? How did you hear about the platform, and why did you choose Seedblink to get some financing?
The reason why we decided to go through a crowdfunding is because...
Arta, can you please remove the presentation so that we can see you?
Yes.
Great.
So the reason why we decided to go through with the crowdfunding is because we believe that our strongest supporters are our beneficiaries are our customers, and we're reaching out to a community of parents who will be able to help us further grow and push our mission further. We believe that those that experience the value that we're delivering are the best fit to support us, to support our growth.
So please catch the attention of your potential investors. Tell them why should they look for you on Seedblink. Why should they invest? What they should put the money on your project? Which are the prospects for your business?
First of all, I think there is an amazing opportunity for growth for Labbox. In the sense that due to the unit economics that we're seeing, the market performance, I think that the business is basically a no-brainer. That's one reason. The other reason is, especially those that understand the importance of our mission and the value proposition, I think that there is an opportunity to take joy in helping our world develop in the right direction and opening the minds of those that will hold our future.
Okay, let's go back to your business and discuss a little bit some details. You said you earned around 400 subscribers for your products. tell us a little much more details about this. Where do they come from? Are they only private, only families, parents who are buying for their kids?
Yes, mostly we have customers that are families, parents buying our products, buying the subscriptions for their kids. We initially started advertising, as I mentioned, through Facebook and Instagram in the areas where we would be logistically could support the delivery of the boxes. And for us, it was very important in the initial shipment of our products to be very close to our customers to understand how we can improve and what we can do better in terms of what they're getting. Additionally to that, after going to Techstars, we've initiated a couple of cohorts of customers that come from other areas because we wanted mainly Europe and US, because we wanted to validate the same experience and match it to the customers from our region. I'm really very, very happy to say that the general feedback is extremely positive, and we've seen parents be very active in giving us suggestions in terms of how we can expand the curriculum and the content and how to help their kids stay even more engaged with such activities. So to maybe summarize, we have customers mostly coming from the Balkan region. So that means Kosovo, Albania, Macedonia, and Croatia mostly. We have customers from Germany. We have customers from, so the cohorts, because we went through Techstars Berlin, most of the customers, the biggest part of that cohort comes from Germany. We have some from France, some from UK, and a couple from US.
Okay, thank you. One big question I think everyone is asking themselves is what can you do in order to have partnerships with the schools or other educational institutions so that you can increase your sales? How are you standing on this point, and what are the prospects for this?
Something very interesting has happened to us. When we started selling the subscription, we basically advertised to parents. But we were getting emails from schools to see how they can include. So these were kind of sales that happened by not targeting that audience. I would call them organic in a way. Today we serve around 30 schools that include Labbox and use it in their after-school activities or their core curriculum. We've seen, in that regard, we've seen this multiplier effect. So kids that experience Labbox at schools, usually kind of the awareness level goes to the parents, and then they communicate with us, and there is that opportunity of converting them to subscribers. Based on that, the reason why we haven't had a strong focus on schools was mostly due to the pandemic. But we're hoping to go back on that trail as of September.
Okay, so we have a question from Alexandru Kifu, who was posted on our Facebook page. And the questions are, what is the production cost of a typical Labbox, and what is your client acquisition strategy?
What is the customer, again, can you repeat the question?
Yes. So the first one is related to the cost of production for each box, and the other one is what's your strategy to acquire customers? Thank you for the questions, by the way. Thank you.
All right. So we've done a production of our products in batches of 300, 500, and 1,000. We've seen the cost of our products to span anywhere from 9 to 12 euros. On maximum. This includes our electronic box as well as plywood materials that go into the box and the packaging. I hope that answers the question. In regards to the strategy of customer acquisition, so our strategy is like this. We know that there is an investment to bring our brand to awareness. That's why we will, of course, be using channels like Facebook and Instagram, but we mostly believe that our growth will happen by using influencers, micro-influencers, as well as our referral mechanisms. Referral mechanisms for us mean that every subscriber that decides to subscribe to Labbox will get a discount if they refer it to their network of friends and family, and therefore we kind of use that network effect to grow. Additionally to that, we are thinking of doing also events. Those plans are a little bit affected by different COVID measures country by country, where we do interaction and introductions and give opportunity to kids to interact with Labbox.
Great. We have another questions for you, so I'll read them. One of them is, how is Labbox different from other kits in the market?
That's one of my favorite questions. So in our experience working with kids in J-coders, even before thinking about creating Labbox, we've seen that products fall into these two categories. You have products that are too fragile for kids, which fall into the category of bare electronics like Arduinos and Raspberry Pis, as well as those that are designed for kids. Now, I want to compare Labbox with those that are designed for kids. Products today that promise to give kids learning experience, all they do is give an assembly experience. What this means is they get clear instruction what they need to do, but there is no energy spent into explaining to them how and why things work, which brings an engineering concept to be felt like a magic trick. So with us, with Labbox has put a strong focus into the learning piece, and therefore that has informed our whole design.
I was wondering, how can you determine what's fragile or not for a kid?
Fragile means if you make mistakes, things break. You cannot reuse them. They're very sensitive in terms of, so kids also have not fully developed motor skills, so you need to support also that.
Okay, so let me ask you another question I received for you. So the question is, what production capacity do you have at the moment?
When we set up our own production line, our idea was to keep the development of our products in an agile manner. We wanted to respond to customer responses, so we set up our own production facilities. With the machines that we right now have, we can produce up to 20,000 electronic boards per week if we go full capacity, which if you translate it into blocks, we can go to a couple of thousands of blocks per week.
Okay, so let me ask another question I received from our audience. You addressed it in a way, but let me ask it again. How do you plan to develop your sales pipeline and convert to customers?
We believe the strongest way is to create a frictionless experience on our online store and give customers a self-managing service where they can control completely their subscription, schedule their, where they can control completely their subscription by being able to cancel, to pause, to resubscribe, even to change the frequency when they receive the boxes. However, as I said in my presentation, customer service for us is a strong focus. We will be having a strong team supporting customers in all manners, in all touch points with our product and service.
Okay, and one last question before we move on to the other startup. I think it's a little tricky question. So who do you define as customers, the children or the parents?
That's a great question. To us, the customers are the parents, the consumers or the users are the kids. And by the way, just to add to that, we've been noticing patterns between our ideal customers, where we don't only look at the profile of the parent, but also behavior and let's say preferences of the children. Sometimes you have a parent that is very aware, but the child is very artsy, or the child just, it doesn't show any interest in this direction. So there is a little bit of a match on those to kind of click our ideal customer.
Arta, thank you very much. Please stand by with us. We are trying to do a short Q&A also after the next presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
So we move on to Luis Mendez, who is founder and CEO of Mate. Hello, Luis, and welcome.
Hello, everyone. Well, happy to be here.
Also, thank you very much for joining us. Let's hear your pitch first. Let's hear about your project. What's Mate doing?
Awesome. So I'll share my screen.